If you're looking for the best dollar-for-dollar value iPhone experience you can get in 2025, the iPhone 14 Pro Max is pretty hard to beat, it costing around $540 in the used market while providing an experience so premium in all the areas that count the most, giving Apple's latest Pro iPhones that cost upwards of $1,000 a run for their money. So today, we're going to step through the 14 Pro Max's key characteristics, its advantages and disadvantages, and why the 14 Pro Max almost feels too good to be true here in 2025, with it currently costing just over $500. So the 14 Pro Max features a 6.7-inch OLED 120Hz ProMotion display with a peak brightness up to 2000 nits when outdoors in direct sunlight. This display is very smooth, responsive, and bright, and it features the modern-style dynamic island cutout, which houses the front camera and Face ID sensors, while also providing some useful software features that work around the cutout. It was actually the first iPhone generation to feature this display design. It's almost the exact same display tech found in the 16 Pro Max. The only advantages the 16 Pro Max has over the 14 Pro Max is its slightly larger 6.9-inch display and its ability to get dimmer, all the way down to 1 nit for when you're in very dark environments. But that's it. Besides those differences, you're looking at the exact same display panel that you get on the 16 Pro Max. The 14 Pro Max features a 48 megapixel main camera lens. It outputs very crisp and detailed shots that are going to be pretty indistinguishable from the 15 and 16 Pro Max's photos in 90% of typical situations. The 14 Pro series were actually the first iPhones to feature 48 megapixel main lenses. We also, of course, have the 12 megapixel ultra-wide lens that takes great 0.5 times shots, and its telephoto lens, which provides a 3 times optical zoom, so not quite as close as the 15 and 16 Pro Max's 5 times optical zoom, and your maximum digital zoom for photos is 15 times, where on the 15 and 16 Pro Max you get a closer 25 times zoom. The 4K 60 frames per second video on the 14 Pro Max is just crazy good. It pretty much leaves nothing to be desired. It outputs very sharp and detailed video with great stabilization. I mean, this is to be expected with a pro tier iPhone that's only a few generations old, especially when it comes to video recording, which has been one of the iPhone's strong suits for the last several generations. Now, there are some secondary camera features that are targeted at the most extreme pro users that the iPhone 14 Pro Max's camera lacks, such as the ability to record log video, the ability to record ProRes video directly to an external hard drive, and even the 16 Pro Max's second-gen photographic styles that gives you more granular control for how your photos look. All these features that you're missing out on with the 14 Pro Max probably wouldn't be features that you'd use on a daily basis, though. And the 14 Pro Max also lacks some of the newer technical camera changes, such as the 14 Pro Max binning photos to only 12 megapixel quality, where the 15 and 16 Pro Max bin their photos to a higher 24 megapixel quality. The 14 Pro Max also features older versions of some of Apple's photo processing techniques, which aren't going to be quite as good at capturing detail in certain lighting conditions. But none of these disadvantages are going to jump out at you or even be noticeable most of the time. There's no denying that this camera system is incredible. And a camera system this good, paired with Insta360's Flow 2 Plus gimbal, who sponsored today's video, turns your iPhone into the ultimate content creation machine. It's a great budget gimbal for cinematic phone filmmaking. It has powerful video stabilization powered by 3 axes of motion, ensuring buttery smooth video no matter how you move when shooting. And my favorite capability of the Flow 2 Plus are the subject tracking features, which can follow you or any other subject you want, like a pet for instance, or even multiple people as the subject moves. Your subject can even leave the frame and come back, and it locks right back in, which is perfect for when you're shooting video alone without the aid of a camera person to help you out. And with active zoom tracking, it'll automatically zoom in and out to keep your subject framed and scaled properly as they move forward and backward. And if you want to use subject tracking outside the Insta360 app, you can use Insta360's AI tracker, which comes in the box with the Flow 2 Plus. It even supports multi-person tracking as well. Their MagSafe mount makes using the Flow 2 Plus even more seamless. The mount also doubles as a kickstand for your iPhone, allowing you to watch videos on your iPhone while it's standing up vertically or horizontally, which is a very welcome side benefit. Go to the link in the video description down below to check out the Insta360 Flow 2 Plus. If you use my link, you'll get an affiliate gift, being the magnetic phone mount for MagSafe connection. Also, if you want a more premium gimbal experience, the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro, which supports Apple Dock Kit, has a 10% discount as well, which you can also find a link for down below in the description. Big thanks to Insta360 for sponsoring this video and for helping me take my iPhone video content creation to the next level. So the iPhone 14 Pro Max is powered by the A16 chip with 6 gigs of RAM, which is still an incredibly powerful processor and RAM combination in 2025. It runs as smooth as can be and will be getting supported by Apple's next several major iOS updates. To contextualize just how powerful this processor still is, Apple's latest iPad 11th Gen that was released just a few months ago, back in March 2025, is powered by the very same A16 chip with 6 gigs of RAM. So you can be rest assured that this chipset has a lot of longevity left in its tank in 2025 going into 2026, as Apple themselves are still shipping new products with the A16 chip and 6 gigs of RAM. The only possible downside to the A16 chip with 6 gigs of RAM is the fact that the 14 Pro Max lacks Apple Intelligence support as a result of this processor and amount of RAM, as the minimum required processor and amount of RAM for Apple Intelligence support is an A17 Pro chip with 8 gigs of RAM. Apple Intelligence being Apple's set of AI features that they've been rolling into iOS throughout the last year, including writing tools, image and emoji generation, ChatGPT integration within Siri, visual lookup AI, and similar features. However, as we've observed throughout the rollout of Apple Intelligence, the features are frankly just not that useful and are inferior versions of the same capabilities that you can get from much better products like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and even some features within Google Photos, which are all applications that you can download and use on any iPhone like the 14 Pro Max here. Not to mention the personal context features within Apple Intelligence that Apple announced never even rolled out yet. They're still delayed until further notice. So you're not missing much at all without Apple Intelligence, and I certainly wouldn't let the lack of Apple Intelligence on the 14 Pro Max impact your purchasing decision at all, as again, you can just download the much better competing AI applications and use those instead. In terms of design, it has shiny stainless steel edges and a matte glass back with very flat and square edges all around. It's undeniably a premium design. And as much as it more or less has the same design as the 15 and 16 Pro Max, there are some key differences, such as the latest 15 and 16 Pro Max having the latest matte textured titanium frame with smoother, more beveled edges with noticeably thinner bezels. But in all likelihood, you won't be noticing any of these changes on a regular basis, as chances are you'll be using a case on your iPhone regardless. The 14 Pro Max features a 4,323 mAh battery capacity, which, as you'd expect for a recent Pro Max iPhone, it provides great battery performance. And even though there's a subset of users who reported faster than normal battery degradation with the 14 Pro series, most users have had great battery experience with the 14 Pro Max. And if you're planning on buying a 14 Pro Max used, or buying any iPhone used for that matter, it's worth noting that you should definitely find one with a battery health around 85% or higher, as if you buy an iPhone with a battery health lower than that, you're going to experience significantly worse battery performance in comparison to when the device was new. So guys, at the end of the day, the 14 Pro Max has a great 120Hz very bright display, a 48 megapixel main camera lens, along with 2 additional lenses being the telephoto and the ultra wide that all take great photos, a powerful A16 chip with 6 gigs of RAM that's going to have several more years of major iOS update support in its future, a premium build quality, all for less than half of the price of any of the latest Pro tier iPhones. I know not everyone is comfortable buying used electronics, and that's totally understandable, but if you are, the 14 Pro Max is again a pretty unbeatable deal right now, as you get the vast majority of the things that the latest Pro tier iPhones have for so much less. And guys, that pretty much wraps it up for this one. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching, and of course, as always, I'll catch you in the next one.